G'day fellas and welcome to a casted game. Spawning in on the south side of the map playing in the red as the Ottomans, we've got Casfa. And on the north side of the map playing in blue as the Holy Roman Empire, we've got Mimon, which I can only imagine is French. But I'm going to be highlighting Casfa here. I'm looking forward to seeing what we've got happening today because this is the pup, all that good stuff, but this is a highly illegal, highly secretive version of the pup. That is correct. The pup is actually closed. So if you are wanting to get your hands on a game on the pup, you're not going to be able to do it unless you've actually got the game open. So look, crossing fingers my game doesn't crash, doesn't break, doesn't do anything too bad. And then that way I'm actually going to be able to cast content for you guys because, as you know, I've been a bit sick. You can probably still hear it in my voice. It's meant that the pup has finished and I haven't been able to push out any content. Even, as I'm saying, you're doing this video right now for you guys, I don't think I've posted a video on the channel in about 36 hours, which is ludicrous for me. You know, a guy who's normally posting 17 times a day, not really, twice a day, is pretty standard. But look, I'm sure you can already hear a bit of rasp in my voice. I'm going to have to make sure that I clear it out whenever I get the chance. But we'll take a look over on the other side of the map as it seems to just be a standard opening here for the Ottomans. But hold on a minute. Look at this. Is the Drongo build moving on? Is the Drongo build getting stronger potentially? Look what we have here. Oh, never mind. I got excited. I was like, oh my god, he's going to drop a barracks. It's going to be amazing. The Drongo build. It's taking over the ladder. Not really at all. So single scout opening. Still got that spearman in queue, playing up against the Holy Roman Empire. I'm curious to see how this little opening happens for him here. Going up against Mimon, who's playing the Holy Roman Empire. I would assume he's French, though, with a name like Mimon. But I'm not 100% sure. It's more than a single scout, though. So we're going to have a double scout opening here for Mimon. Something that you don't always see. In fact, something that we've started to see a lot less of. There was a balance change about a month and a half ago that made the scout take 25 seconds instead of 20 seconds. And just that single change has meant people are all of a sudden reconsidering as to whether they want to open double scout or not. But we do see Mimon going for that double scout. He's got quite a few sheep here to work with. He's got 5 back at the town center, another 4 on the way in, another 1 out here behind numero uno scout. The spearman makes his way out across the map. Now this is always something really dangerous. As you can hear my voice, still not 100%, apologies. So this is always really something dangerous to do, and something I always make sure that I do when I'm playing the Ottomans. Number 1 is you want to clear out wolves, because then this happens. You know, you've lost 6 health. This could be the difference between an alive spearman and a dead one. And, you know, if you go in and grab Imperial or field work from your Imperial Council, then that one may have survived. The other issue that you're going to have is you're basically just walking into a town center. Now, you've got a pretty good idea of where it is because it is hill and dale. It's going to be up on this hill area, but still, you've got no idea where you're going. And ideally, what you're looking for is one thing, and that's the gold mine. We take a look and see where that gold mine is, and you can see it's at the front. At the moment, he's not going to be able to do a whole lot of damage on that gold mine because of emergency repairs. You know, Mimon is just going to be able to repair that bad boy up. He'll be fine. The other alternative that he could be looking for is stone. Now, Mimon's actually got a pretty darn good Ark and Chapel right here. It is a stone, gold vein, wood line, town center Ark and Chapel. Now, the alternative Arkan that he could have gone for is one back up here. It's known as the Juicer. But not going to be happening today. Spearman now coming in, going to be providing a little bit of annoyance here to Mimon. Now I'm curious what direction Mimon goes because we can see he's quite heavily on wood. So I was thinking perhaps a second town center as all the villagers move out here, right adjacent to the Ark and Chapel. But it might just be an early archery range, and this is something that Casfa has forced his enemy to do just simply by going to military school. So by playing it out a little bit early. And going for this bit of aggression here, he may force this potentially, or it could be an outpost would be the other alternative. The alternative. I'm not 100% sure the best way to say it, but you can see that with emergency repairs, the Ark and Chapel, the mining camp, it's not a problem. The problem here is the stone outcropping. How do we get stone without exhausting ourselves, without forcing ourselves to do something that we don't want to do? And the answer is, well, we can't really. So we have to drop down an archery range. Now, granted, Mimon probably could have come up here towards the north, maybe, you know, skipped a few villages up here. You send 4 or 5 up here, but it's quite a lot of walking distance when you think about it. So that's always going to be one of the options. The other options, of course, down here to the south, which is probably even a bit further away. But the reality of the situation is that it's just easier to make some archers. And you can see that there's a pretty big overreaction here. Definitely doesn't need this. Just one archer is going to be enough to force back these spearmen. Because you don't want to lose these spearmen, and you are going to lose them if that archer is slowly but steadily attacking. And I think he actually put the archer in the TC for now. Ideally, you want to get that bad boy out there on the map. But we do see the age up now coming in for Caspar. A bit of a late age up here, 5:30, only 4 villagers, and he's gone quite far away from his TC. I wouldn't recommend this. I'm not a big fan of this. I don't like this at all. Just because this landmark is a really good landmark, in my opinion, but it's one that you need to be very active using. Like, you know, we think about like the Chinese versus the French in the early game. Like, okay, what are you doing as the French in the early game? I'm putting 8 on food, I'm putting 4 on gold, and then I'm rallying to wood, right? Like, that's the French in the early game. What is the Chinese? The Chinese is like, all right, 3.14159265358979323584 to the power of 7, and then I'm gonna make sure that my Imperial official drop-off is the same timing as well. This is the same thing, right? Like, you're doing pi when you're doing the twin minaret madrasa, because what you're wanting to do is you need to make sure that you're constantly using these berries as soon as you possibly can. You need to have villagers on these guys ASAP, sucking them down. Now, of course, that's as long as it meets your build order, but ideally you don't want to have any food villagers down here under the TC. You want them up underneath the madrasa, just so that it's actually giving you that extra food, because once these guys are exhausted, then they're going to be respawning, and that's what you want. And I think we might have a stuck villager here. This is not good. I'm not sure if you guys saw that, but the villager was running away. The berry bush spawned at the exact same time. Little bit of a bug right there. Definitely a game-breaking bug for the Ottomans. That sucks. If that happened in a tournament, you'd probably see a replay. You would see a replay. You'd be like, nah. How do you genuinely expect me to say that I just lost a villager and we're all good? No, there's no two ways about it. Restart the game. 100%. I don't think there's any. If this was, you know, Beastie Cutie versus Marine Lord semi-finals, $300,000 Red Bull Walla lol, that's a restart. That is 100% a restart right there. And that just comes down to the devs. You know, you got to make sure that we fix that. Don't put collision on the twin minaret madras. Berry bushes for the first 6 seconds of their lives. I guess that's probably the best way you could do it. And here we can see the consequence of going for the twin minaret madras and actually using it as that mill. Because if you put it here next to the town center, what's going to happen is they're going to go on the berries and then they're going to go idle. But here with the berries, they're just going to move over to this, and this is a suboptimal source of food. So that's my TED talk. Thank you for coming. But we do take a look at Casper's base now. I'm going to have to clear out my voice. I'm sure you guys can hear it. So getting a bit raspy in there. But we've got the meta out. Meta going to be able to provide a little bit of attack speed there. 15% attack speed, which starts to stack up, especially for units like the Archer. Attack speed is really, really important because it enables you to kill essentially 15% more units faster, and then so you start working down or onto that critical mass rather quickly. But we'll check in on the other side of the map and see how Mimon is doing and how he's tracking, because it looks like it's going to be that age 3 play that's coming through for Mimon. And look at this, we do have that double town center coming in. I feel like he may have overinvested in archers, but look, I think this is just naturally what's going to happen when you're up against a civilization that you don't really know what's going to be happening for them, because, you know, it could be a huge commitment in the second age to spears, or it might just be nothing at all. But we can see in this case, it was pretty much nothing at all. Realistically, behind this, we can see that we've got Caspar who's going for the archery range. Now, you guys don't need me to tell you about the archery range and about why it's probably best to always be going for the archery range here. But anyway, we have Caspar now beginning to push out. Still going to be keeping that attack drum. Actually, did he switch it over? I think he switched it over. No, he's still on attack drum, so still buffing up that attack speed. Doesn't actually show in the UI. Probably a change I would like to see. You've got, you know, attack over here, or, you know, attack damage. Why not chuck attack speed over here? That'd be pretty cool, like 1.25, and I guess that number would be representative of the actual attack speed. You can see 1.39. That's one attack every 1.39 seconds, compared to the spearman, which attacks once every 1.64 seconds. So a little bit different there, but now we've got another archery range coming up, and this is, honestly, this is the way I love to play Ottomans. I think this is probably the best way to play Ottomans. You go off 2 TC, exactly like Casper's doing, a 4th archery range. I'm loving it. This is 100% how you play Ottomans. So the trick here is that you're utilizing the wood that spawns in your base as effectively as you can. You get your +1 wood cutting. You also go for the wheelbarrow, wherever that one is. There it is. You get your wheelbarrow in, so you've got your maxed out economic upgrades for your wood cutting, and you're investing 100% of resources into those archers. and then you're just getting your free units coming in from the military school. He's actually going for archers. A little bit of a no-no. Dangerous here for Caspar. He's got two potential problems. Number one, it's going to be the knight. You guys know the knight loves to come in and crush archer numbers. Number two, the men-at-arms. And it's the consequence of going for those archers in this matchup, I think. But one of the things we can see that he's already begun doing quite well. He's begun defending relics. Now, how many relics does he know about? He doesn't know about this one out here. Doesn't know about this one to the north. And we can see the prelate's already moving out towards that northern position. If we have a look at Mimon, we can see that he does have a second prelate out here somewhere. He's in the Archon Chapel. But he did actually go for the Burgrave Palace, so something that we don't always see. This could be a bit dangerous for Caspar because he's got a window of death. That is that is it. You don't look out this window, unfortunately. It looks upon you. But we've got the archers moving forward now. I'm curious to see how Caspar plays this because there is actually one way that you can play it, which makes it a bit easier. But all of a sudden, the men-at-arms do get their upgrades in. And when we saw Caspar looking to push the issue, siege engineering coming in, he thought, yeah, I'm gonna really punish this Ottoman player, or rather this Holy Roman Empire player, for going for double TC fast castle. But no, it's double TC fast castle into the Burgrave, baby. Now we've got a wall coming down. One villager going to be attempting to get this wall up. Something tells me he's going to need a whole lot more friends. Actually, we do see the second villager coming out. Men-at-arms falling back from this position, and probably a wise thing. They do have +1 ranged attack on them, which is going to enable them to shred through here. So once the men-at-arms get that +1 ranged armor, we'll take a look at Mimon and see how he's doing. Indeed, he is getting that +1 ranged armor. Also getting a second blacksmith down. Once he's got that, it's going to be much easier for him to take down this archer mass. That wall is going to come up behind, and we do see it was only the 3 villagers here that were making it, and he manages to get it up, so it does a pretty decent job of repelling it. But now Caspar just looking like he might actually be sticking it out in the feudal age, going absolutely ham with the archers. And look, honestly, this is one of my favorite ways to play the Ottomans, a feudal age archer mass, and we can see he's gone absolutely ham, thrown in a couple of Raxes as well. All of these guys, with the exception of this barracks over here, are in the influence of the blacksmith, so they're all going to be getting that reduced train time. The first barracks, we'll have a look, 15 seconds on the spearmen. Compare that to the second barracks, which has got 12 seconds. So you can see a 20% reduction already. But now we got those men-at-arms once again looking to push out. It's doing a decent job of picking them off. But now we do have that +1 ranged armor in. It's gonna drop the damage down by these archers by half, which is kind of crazy to think about because they're on 6. So you'd think that half would be like 3 damage. Well, no, half is 2 damage to 1. So now slowly but steadily trying to pick these bad boys off. Men-at-arms, unfortunately, still yet to get their fast little legs coming in just yet. Marching drills about on the way. And it is almost in. We've got another, how long? 4 seconds to that boy comes in. 1.38 movement speed. Get ready to rocket that one right up. Actually, I was looking at the wrong thing. 1.12 up to 1.2. 1.12 up to 1.24. There we go. And now kiting back towards the palisade gates. And all of a sudden, this is where it starts to get a little bit tougher for Mimon, because how do you deal with the box? Because that's essentially what we've got here. We've got a box. He's able to fall back towards his position, so perhaps a mangonel, perhaps a trebuchet, maybe a ram might be the cheapest option. But this is going to enable him to pick up the relics. We see him picking up relics behind this. We've got the additional relics, and we've only got one that hasn't been picked up yet. There is a villager out here from Caspar, somewhat guarding this position. Age up now coming through as well for him. Take a look what he looks to go for now. You guys know I'm a fan of one landmark in particular when it comes to the castle age. Let's see if Caspar is as well. It is indeed the MIA, the Mehmed Imperial Armory. Coming through for Caspar, it is, in my opinion, this is the only way to go. I don't think you can possibly even fathom going for the Istanbul Imperial Academy. I don't know exactly what it's called. Another blacksmith going to come down. Quite a lot of overlap in these blacksmiths, but you know what? I'll take it. It's a small base that you've got on this map. It reminds me a lot of Altai. You don't have a lot of room to work with, but this blacksmith is going to be powering up a whole bunch of stuff, and we can see him actually adding in the next military school. Had failed to do so up until this point. So there's going to be 3 military schools for him. Once he hits the 3rd age, you'll also be able to get a 4th military school. Slowly coming up with the MIA. And we'll ride on board with Mimon for a little bit as we see the farms transition coming in, or the farm transition coming in. He does have berries in the back of his base, but obviously prioritizing farms when there is an Archon Chapel, and doing a great job as well. Look at this coverage he's got. Just really focusing all of that attention. But now also the monastery coming down. Hey, where are you going, buddy? You got yourself. Hey, you got yourself some hot property right there. You gotta get that back. You gotta get that back to the base, my buddy. You can see that he's actually dropped down the 1st, 2nd, 3rd relic in here. Does have space for a 4th one. Where's that 5th relic? It's over on the west side of the map. So a little bit of a mistake here from Mimon, missing out on some of the gold coming through. And now Casper reaching the castle age. We'll check in with the base of Casper and see what he's up to, as it looks like a bit of a stable switch coming through. Also got the veterancy upgrades. MIA is going to be working on those mangonels. No surprise there. Now keep in mind the mangonel at a base level takes 3 minutes to generate. But once you start working towards those upgrades, you can really get that bad boy down. About 2 minutes 14 is where it comes down to. All right, well, the archer's now pushing out. He's got veterancy on these bad boys. Also, no +2 coming through just yet. You'd think with an archer mass like this, he would be working towards +2, but look at this. The consequence of going and capturing a sacred site with a relic might be that you lose the relic. Now, speaking of relics, Prelate over here on the west side of the map working towards that, but Casper coming out, and look at this. Just in case the Prelate is getting ready to be moved, but now it's going to be caught out. Unfortunately, no Wallalol going to be able to save him. He tries. Not going to happen today, unfortunately, Mimon. But now that next relic getting picked up, and Casper does spot that one immediately. Beautiful knight coming in. One of the nicest knights in the games. Tries to get the Wallalol off. Let's see if he's able to get it. He could have easily taken that Prelate out. Looks like the Spearman doesn't get captured. Neither does the knight, but he's going to be able to bring that one back in. And able to take down the sacred site as well. We don't see him yet making any Murgle moves in the middle of the map just yet. Mimon starting to really stack up that gold as well, up to 1,500 gold. Getting up his upgrades. He's going into veteran horseman. Definitely a wise decision, a great unit to be running. And we got ourselves a little bit of an attack over here on the west side as the crossbows and archers attempt to run away here from this position. Mimon looking very strong in this mid game. We hear a bunch of things getting deleted behind the scenes. We don't know exactly what that was, but a whole bunch of horsemen going to be coming in shortly. Definitely the right choice for Mimon to be adding in these horsemen, and maybe start thinking a little bit more about upgrades. What other upgrades have we got here to throw down? Yeah, a whole bunch of good upgrades in here. I'm sure there's some eco upgrades he can be working on, and indeed he is working on those. And now look at this Spearman upgrade coming through with the speed light, as he spotted, I think he spotted that knight out. Well, he definitely spotted that knight out. He lost a Prelate to the knight, so he may indeed be thinking about heading towards that direction. But we'll ride on board with Casper. We'll see where he's gone. He's actually gone for Advanced Academy over Fast Training. Very interesting. So gone for Advanced Academy, and he's got 3 military schools at the moment. Can technically make a 4th one, but is yet to do it just yet. You can see he's really struggling for space in the base right now. But has opted to go into knights, and you can see each one of these military schools is working on those knights. So instead of going for like faster generating, men at arms or something like that, he just goes straight for knights, which I think is probably open for discussion, because the knight is by far the best unit that you can have that is being produced. I'm not sure if that, I would 100%, that would 100% include with the upgrade. Now, men at arms going to be coming in. A few spearmen in tow as well. Still yet to get their veterancy upgrade. We can tell by their spears that they're yet to get that. And we're going to enter into the cinematic mode as Casper looks intent on this push right here. Casper really pushing the issue all of a sudden. Keep in mind he's got siege engineering in. He's trying to pick off the spearmen, doing a decent job. You can see the overkill coming through. Veteran spearmen now coming in. Knights on the front line looking to try and tank this up. No lance connects here. Going to mean that the knights are able to pretty much uncontestedly fight this one off. And indeed, Casper looking very solid here as he begins pushing in on this 3rd town center of the Holy Roman Empire. Now, keep in mind, emergency repairs always going to be in play here. So unless you've got yourself a whole bunch of battering rams, you ain't going to be able to do much work. The Mangonel making its way in now for Casper. We'll check in with Mimon and see how he's doing. He's probably going to be looking to get some Springald upgrades. And speaking of Springald upgrades, bring it on, baby. There it is. Interestingly from Mimon, we still did not see that Imperial Age come through just yet. Farm transition has finally made its way in. Let's take a look and see how many farms we've got. 36 of them. Not a bad number. Another outpost on the front line going to be coming down here. Knight's going to be catching some villagers unawares. And now going to have to fall back away from this position. We hear that Mangonel rolling in and a whole bunch of villagers. Casper going for the keep drop. This one doesn't look doubtful at all. He's got plenty of units here to back these boys up. And we're going to enter into the cinematic mode once again as Casper really attempts to drive this one home. Mangonel firing off onto the veteran spearman. Horseman looking to hold it down. We've got a Wallalol in the north. Doesn't look like he's... Oh, that's Casper's. Casper's got to be careful. The villagers forced back away from the position. He's able to hold on a little bit longer. Mangonel still looking solid at the back line, but the Springald is now out. Wait and see, but Casper looking like he's going to be able to clean up this position of Mimon. Mimon not looking the strongest. And now going to have to fall back as well. We see a Mangonel coming out for him. And Casper able to establish a very strong front here for himself. Going to continue rallying in units. We now see counterweight trebuchet being worked on here at the MIA. These guys going to be slowly but steadily funneled across the map. He's got plenty of units coming out. Now those archers going to be making their way through to the base. Spearman cleaning up a couple of knights, doing a pretty decent job. He's managing to hold for the moment, I say, with the Springles, the Mangonel. Oh, my knights. My lord, that was a nice little dodge there from Caspar. The Mangonel coming out at point-blank range like, yo, what up? I got a big boulder. Yeah, anyway. We move on. We digress. Caspar looking very, very solid in this game, demonstrating that Ottoman prowess here. I'm trying to think what Mimon could have done differently. I mean, maybe not go for the Burgrave Palace. Maybe you got to follow this up with a couple rams or something, because he was just, I mean, he didn't really press the issue, and I think that's what you've got to do, don't you? When you're playing as the Holy Roman Empires, you got to press the issue. You got to press the attack. Now those knights falling back into the base, trying to find some villages. Not going to find anything out on those berry patches out over on the east side. We see a second keep now going to be coming up. Mimon going to be on the defensive. He's got plenty of gold in the bank. Could look to drop down a keep himself, but doesn't really have the spot for it. I think the best spot you probably got might be over here. But even that, it's not gonna be able to do too much for you. Siege Workshop now coming up towards the north of the base. Not a lot of resources in the bank. Villager count. Oh, excuse me. Villager count at the moment 92 versus 91. So these guys even Stevens. Obviously, relics also going to count for something. Keep in mind, military school also going to be working overtime, as well as the MIA going to be pumping out the equivalent of, I mean, I'm going to do the quick math here. I'm going to say about 15 villages worth there. And it's actually going to be pretty similar with regard to the relics as well. Actually, the relics have been nerfed a little bit. So maybe I think a 5 relic stack might be worth 12 villages now. But I'd have to double check. But we start to hear sacred sites being captured behind the scenes. Speaking of relics, we don't even have 5 over there. We've actually got, I think, only 4. 4? Let me double check. I don't actually see the... I got no idea. I know he's got sacred sites because I can see the imam out. Or I know he's got. Hold on, don't tell me. I know he didn't. Went for field work. Or didn't go for field work. So honestly, everything Caspar's done at this point in time, I'm so impressed with. You know, we talked about Caspar in one of the earlier videos, and one of the things I mentioned was like, I feel like Caspar doesn't know what something does until he actually plays against it, loses to it, and then reads it, and he's like, oh, okay. It turns out Janissaries counter cavalry. Didn't know that. Well. You know, had you read that they had the counter against cavalry, you would, but you didn't. But I feel like Caspar is actually, like, playing this very, very impeccably. I can't fault him at this point. There's no way that I would change his gameplay at all. I think he's played it immaculately. The only thing I'd probably do different is maybe go a little bit greedier than what he did. Maybe add in a 3rd TC or something, or maybe get your walls up a little bit sooner. He didn't scout out the Burgrave Palace, but I mean, you know what? That's probably a pretty big deal. You know, if this was super duper high level, I think that Mimon had a chance to push through and dish out some damage. As long as he was going for that +1 a little bit earlier, he definitely could have pushed through to the base. You know, got in behind here. You don't really care too much about that town center, and you can just begin working on idling villages out, rallying in more units, get the battering ram technology. You know, get the siege engineering in. Town center going to go down. Now, emergency repairs was up. And the town center obviously is a provider of emergency repairs, so we know for a fact he could have emergency repaired that TC. But look, I guess at this point in the game, we're 23 minutes in. Town center's not going to be as important as, you know, if we were 13 minutes into the game. Triple Trebuchet actually coming out here for Mimon. That's a lot of trebs to invest in when you're on the defensive, but at the same time, it's going to be all that he needs to clean this out. 2 trebs probably would have done it. He's got stone walls down that south side. Nothing up towards the north, and we can see Caspar actually looking to expand up here with a nice little outpost. I love the way Caspar's got villages in the proximity, or at least he used to. We now see the 5th and final Vizier Tech coming through for... Vizier Tech, rather, coming through for Caspar, not Vizier Tech. Vizier Tech. Now, it should be Siege Works, or Siege Crews. Siege Crews is, in my opinion, the best late-game tech that you can go here. I think this is superior to anything else, other than maybe trade bags. Might be the exception there, but I think trade, obviously, it's going to be... if you're going for trade bags, I think you have to really play your game around trade, and which is obviously something that he could look to do here. This is a great map for trade. Trading post right in the corner of the map, so he puts a market down here. He's got some great trade potential, but at the same time, I feel like Siege Works just really gives you some great bang for your buck, especially once you start getting late game. And speaking of late game, look at this. Caspar really pushing out. We've got some pretty even numbers right here. And Caspar might be under a little bit of attack. We're going to enter into the cinematic mode as the Knights try and push up and defend. Spearman also going to be coming through. Springald's looking to come up for a bit of a kiss. Not going to have too much luck there as they do get attacked. Multiple units falling down. Trebuchet versus Trebuchet now on the front line. Look at him go. The crossbows on the back line might be the difference here, and indeed they are, as they just continue funneling out attacks. The lack of horsemen here is going to mean that just those crossbows doing so much bloody work. And I'm absolutely loving this. I think Casva's Ottoman is... Hey, you got to watch out for this. This is looking incredibly good now. I think Ottoman might actually be in a decent position. Now, you might say, look, well, I don't think Casva's up against the best player here. And look, that's a valid point. We don't know how good Mimon is. But he's French. Marine Lord's French. So perhaps they're friends. Something that you should consider. Mimon now really under pressure. I mean, he looked to try and clear himself out. He's been stacking up 2k gold for just the last 12 years at this point in time. He is a gold hoarder. But we did hear a wolf attack over. Speaking of trade, look at this. Mimon going to be the one doing the trade. Not the most efficient trade. He's got the market a little bit further away from the corner. Ideally, you want it right up in that back point. Trebuchet going to be going down. Mimon holding on for dear life. Horseman numbers looking a little bit healthier. He's got no more in queue, though, so this is going to be it. Really wants to focus down that meta. That meta is going to be so damn important in providing just that area of effect with regard to whatever it chooses. And we can see that he's actually gone for meta melee armor for the moment, up against those spears, up against those horsemen. But it's going to be the static defense, which is holding on for both of these players. I say holding on for both of these players. Oh, we ain't going to be spectating him on anymore. I tell you what, after that wolf attack. But now Casper might be thinking about going to Imperial Age. 120 versus 120 villagers. They are even Stevens on villagers still. This game is very, very even. But still, I suspect that Casper might be quite ahead in score. Let's double check and see what the score is for these guys. Look at that, Casper, about 20 points ahead, 40 points ahead of him. This could absolutely go either way, but Casper really looking to push the issue here, and I think he might be thinking about Imperial Age. Not 100% sure. I want to have a look and see what kind of production we've got back here. Look at this. Casper going for a big swing. This is something so dangerous to do. I was going to say if he's going into men-at-arms, but he's not. He's actually going into Spearman. 100% the right choice, but you've got to be very careful against the Landsknecht. And we do see it was indeed Siege Crews coming through. Oh, he went for meta drums. He didn't go for Anatolian Hills. Oh my god, I can fault him. He went for meta drums. He didn't go Anatolian Hills. I can't believe it. I just saw that now. Oh my gosh. All right, he wants to go meta drums. I would say pretty useless, but now Springle's coming out. Look at Siege Crews. Siege Crews going to be able to outgun, outspeed. Look at this is where the difference comes in, and something I've talked about 1,000 times before. This is what makes Siege Crews so damn good in the late game for the Ottomans. When you're in your Springwood battles, it all comes down to setup speed, it comes down to attack speed. And this gives you an extra 25% of both. So now not only do you get your first shot off faster, you get your second shot off faster. And you picture this, right? Let's say you got 4 Springwoods up against 4 Springwoods. You hit 2 of your enemies' Springwoods and you hit them before they can even fire. Guess what? When they clap back to you, they're only taking out 1 of your Springwoods. So now you've lost 1 Springwood, and then you're going to hit them with the next attack. You're going to be able to take out 1.5 of their Springwoods. So they've got half a Springwood left, which technically is 1 half health Springwood. And then it's going to try and fire off its shot. It will get it off, but your Springwood will stay alive. You're left with 3 Springwoods, 1.5 health. The enemy is left with none. That is the difference right there. And that's why something like Siege Crews is so damn important. And now Springwood's coming through. Look at this technology. This is actually insane. This Imperial Council tech, it's just going to guarantee that there's nothing that his enemy can do. Mimon going to be in a really tough spot, losing out all of the siege at this position. Once again, we're going to enter into the cinematic mode, get ourselves a little bit of a better picture here as Mimon going to be under the defensive. And we see that Casper is just pushing through, looking to try and get a keep up. I think he's got 1 villager in here. There we go. There's a handful more. And now really pushing through. Keep going to be going down. Mimon looking to try and hold on. Casper pushing through. Spearman looking decent, but now going to be forced back away from the position meta. Still holding strong. Just a single meta. Just chilling out, minding its own business. Villagers looking to try and repair up the siege. Not looking to repair the siege at all. Trebs firing off in the midst of things. Keep looks like it's up. It is not. I assure you that is a dead keep, my friends. It's interesting to see the textures on that bad boy. Looks like we've got 0 graphics running right now, but Mimon just trying his best to clean up the position, doing a pretty decent job. Spearman numbers back here for Casper looking good. And now the Spearman going to be coming through. Does he think this keep is up? That is my question. Is this like a keep fake out? You can see that it looks like there's units firing towards his position. I don't know if he's holding or if he's attacking ground or something like that, or what's happening. But now the Treb's going to fire off. Casper looking like he might be in a decent spot. All of the military units going to be pushing up through the invisible keep. And now that Trebuchet looking to unfold, but there's just nothing here. There's just nothing here at this point. We got to bring back the UI. I need to see if there's any stone whatsoever here for Mimon. He needs to drop down a keep or something. But the thing is, he's got stone in the bank, but the trebuchets that come out in response, and keep in mind, these guys are attacking faster. They're attacking more quickly, setting up quicker. because of that siege cruise. That's what makes all the difference. So now Casper taking all 3 sacred sites behind this, looking incredibly strong. A good game gets called. Casper going to be taking this one, and I got to say, Casper looking incredible, looking absolutely amazing ahead of the Red Bull Wallalol. It is all wrapped up. The 16 players have been finalized, and Casper is one of them. Fellas, I hope you guys have enjoyed this cast, and I'll catch you guys in the next one.